Hi, I'm Sayojita. Today I'm making mixed vegetable Shakuti for you. Shakuti is a traditional coconut-based gravy from Goa, usually made with meat, but this vegan version is equally delicious. Like all Shakutis, it is rather versatile. You can serve it with rice, roti or pav, the traditional Goan bread. I have used mushrooms as the main ingredient in my Shakuti, and I've supplemented that with peas, beans, carrots and potatoes. You can add cauliflower or any other vegetables you want to. And if you're feeling creative, how about a broccoli and zucchini Shakuti? Anything goes. The process for making Shakuti is rather simple and allows for a lot of parallelism. As with any other gravy, there are 3 basic steps. The first is to make a gravy base. For Shakuti, the gravy base is made with roasted ingredients, whole spices, onions, and coconut, fresh or dry. The second step is to cook the main ingredient. In my case, this is the mixed vegetables. So the second step is to season and cook the vegetables. And the third is to put it all together. Each step can take a little time depending on the quantity you're making and the ingredient you're using. For example, if you're making a meat-based Shakuti, step number 2 is going to be quite longer than with vegetables. But also depends on the vegetables. If I'm making mushroom Shakuti, it takes only 5 minutes. But throw in the potatoes and the peas will take a little longer. Roasting the ingredients for the gravy base also takes a little bit of time. But as I mentioned, you can do a lot of these tasks in parallel, and I find this particular gravy quite simple to make. If you would like to make Shakuti more often, I have further simplified it for you. Coming up in a follow-up video is a Shakuti gravy mix that you can prepare once in a couple of months and then make Shakuti at whim whenever you feel like. The mix will keep in the refrigerator for months. And basically what you do is you're eliminating step 1 from this Shakuti making process. But first, we have to make Shakuti from first principles. So let's dive right in. A quick glance at the ingredients. The vegetables first. In today's Shakuti, my main vegetable is mushrooms. And in addition, I have carrots, beans, peas, and 1 small potato. If you don't want to use mushrooms, you can use any other vegetables like cauliflower or even exotic vegetables like broccoli and red peppers. Next, the ingredients for the gravy base. Coconut, fresh or desiccated, I'm using fresh. Onion, ginger and garlic, dry red chilies, along with a host of whole spices, and oil. All these ingredients have to be roasted and ground into a paste, and the oil is going to be used for roasting them. We'll start with the gravy base. First, I'm just going to temper the whole spices. I'm using my stainless steel kadai for everything today. Heat it and add the oil. I'm using coconut oil, but you can use any. And then add the spices into the hot oil. Cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, coriander seeds, cumin seeds, black peppercorns, fennel seeds, star anise, and then the red chilies. I have used mild Kashmiri chilies because I usually like my vegetable gravies to be relatively mild. If you want it spicy, you can use the regular hot chilies and just toss them until they are aromatic. Take them out. I'm going to put them directly in the mixie jar. Next, we have to roast the onions. We don't need a lot of oil for this because we want it to be roasted, not fried. I've added in the onions, and I'm also going to throw in the garlic and the ginger because they are coarsely chopped and they will also take a long time to get nicely done. The salt helps the onions cook faster. They must be roasted and brown, but also soft, fully cooked, because if they remain slightly uncooked, then when we grind them, the gravy will be bitter. We don't want that. Let's check it out after a few minutes. It's still a little crunchy, the onions and also the garlic. So I'm going to cover the kadai now for a little bit and allow them to cook. As I mentioned, they must be completely soft and brown. They're soft now, and this will take about 5 to 7 minutes. Next, we have to roast the coconut. And what I'm going to do is, instead of taking the onions out, I'm going to add the coconut to the onions so that they can also continue to roast along with the coconut. This is fresh coconut, so it's not going to get very dark. It's going to remain sort of a goldenish brown, and therefore so will your gravy. I'm going to increase the heat to brown the coconut. If you really want a dark color for your shakuti, then you need to use at least some quantity of desiccated coconut. You could do a combination. As you can see, the crumbs of the coconut are getting charred on the kadai, and it's a stainless steel kadai, so it retains a lot of heat. I'm just going to turn it off now. We don't want the coconut to be burnt. This is good. The coconut has browned in the residual heat of the kadai after I turned it off. I'm going to transfer that to the mixie jar and allow it to cool. In case you're wondering, we are not going to waste all these beautifully caramelized crumbs that are stuck to the kadai. I'm going to add some water to the hot kadai and then take out all the stuck-on matter. This serves two purposes. We can use the water, which has all the flavors of the roasted ingredients, for grinding the paste. In the bargain, the kadai is getting cleaned, and so it will be ready to use for cooking the vegetables. A win-win situation, I see. Okay, that's good enough. And then this remaining stuff, I'm just going to rinse off and use my steel wool cloth to clean it. Everything is coming out quite easily. No pressure required. It's better to clean out the residue near the rivets now, because once you heat it, it's going to get sept and it's just going to keep building up over there. So if you want to keep your kadai spotless, make sure you clean there right after you use the kadai. Okay, that's it. Then just rinse it in cold water and we are good to go. And here is the kadai. Now the vegetables. My kitchen is heated up a little bit, and so my coconut oil is no longer solid at room temperature. Doesn't matter. We just need a little bit of oil. Add the onion and the green chilies. Both have to be finely chopped. I've added only one green chili, but you can add more for a spicier version. And a little bit of salt to allow the onion to cook quickly. Not too much, because I do want the onion to brown in this case. We want that brown flavor also. We've also added salt to the onions in the gravy base earlier, just to keep in mind. And these are my mushrooms. While the masalas were roasting, I have diced them. I've left the smaller ones whole and only halved or quartered the big ones. And I'm also using the stems. The potato has been diced, about 3/4 inch dice. And I've soaked it in water so it won't blacken. Now we can add the vegetables one by one, starting with the ones that need a longer time to cook, like potatoes, carrots and beans. If you're using fresh peas, you should add them in now as well. Frozen ones, as you will see, because those are what I'm using, will be added later. Some turmeric and chili powder. Mushrooms are my main vegetable here. The rest are in a smaller quantity. I've not used cauliflower this time, but you can use some if you want. And last of all, the peas. I have used the frozen peas thawed. I've added them later because frozen peas cook very easily. But if you're using fresh, you can either parboil them earlier and add them now, or you can just cook them with the potatoes. Not too much water, just enough to cook the vegetables. You can always add more later. Let it come to a boil, lower the heat, cover and allow the vegetables to cook. I'm going to let the vegetables come to a boil on a higher flame and then I will lower it. And I'm also going to plug the vent on the lid with a couple of onion slices. In the meanwhile, the gravy base is cool enough to grind. That's what I'm going to do while the vegetables are cooking. They also take about 5-7 minutes to get nice and soft. You can always keep an eye on them while we are grinding the paste. That doesn't take very long. This water is not going to be enough. The paste needs to be smooth, otherwise the gravy will separate. And this is still a little coarse, so some more water. For my mixie, I think I am going to have to make 2 batches of this. Here we go. Here's the first batch. And the second one. And then I'm going to rinse off the mixie and add that water to the paste. Let's see what the vegetables are up to by now. It's been about 5 minutes and they're almost cooked. And the mushrooms have given the broth a nice brown color, which is always welcome in a shakuti because shakuti is generally brown in color. The vegetables need a little bit of salt, so I'm going to add some. And then keep it covered for a few more minutes. And now we are ready to add the gravy paste. The vegetables are about 90% cooked. The remaining 10% of the cooking will happen in the gravy. I'm going to bring it to a boil here before adding the gravy paste. Here goes. I'm going to bring it to a boil and let it simmer for a few minutes to allow that 10% cooking of the vegetables before I add the tamarind. If I add the tamarind first, then the vegetables will not cook anymore. This is also a good time to taste and adjust the seasonings in case you need to add salt and chili powder. And if you feel like you need more of the masala, you can put in a little bit of garam masala powder. The gravy has really come together well. It's not dark brown as I said because we have used all fresh coconut. And this consistency is good even to eat with rice, roti or pav as it is eaten with in Goa. And now I'm going to add the tamarind paste quite late in the process because I'm adding paste. If you have pieces of tamarind, you can add them while grinding in the gravy base. In which case, you must make sure that the vegetables are fully cooked before you add the gravy base. That is important. Otherwise, they will remain slightly uncooked. Okay. Or you can extract the tamarind pulp in water by soaking the whole tamarind. And then just squeeze out the juices. Put it in the gravy. It will need to cook, so you will need to simmer it for a little longer after you add that. In case you find that your gravy is separating, you can add a teaspoon of rice flour. And there should be a wonderful aroma of roasted spices blended with coconut right now. And it's done. I'm going to turn it off now and let it rest for a few minutes before serving. I've served my shakuti with folded chapatis and a simple salad. I've served it with coconut rice and a very simple green bean curry. That's it for shakutis. If you would like to make a variety of shakutis at home more often, then do be on the lookout for my shakuti gravy mix video coming soon. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so that you'll be notified of any upcoming videos as soon as they drop. If you found this video useful, do hit the like button and share it with your friends. I'll see you again soon. In the meanwhile, you can take a look at all the dishes in my vegetarian gravies playlist. Until then, happy cooking and thank you for watching.